Good morning, Dr. Gary on the road here. We sell dental practices nationwide. Today's topic is, can a seller of a dental practice sue a buyer for failure to purchase the office? We'll get into different circumstances. So anyway, before we do, as you know, we're in multiple states now. We have 10 employees, including 2 CPA accountants, marketing director, director of operations. Now, we're available to you 363 days a year. We take off Christmas and Easter. So we are here to help you. Now, we can be reached at 201-663-0935. 201-663-0935. And website is dentalpracticeguide.com or Nationwide Dental Practice Brokers. So give us a call, definitely. We'll be more than happy to help you with multiple buy, sell, need advice, get an appraisal of your office, whatever you need. Now, everything you're about to hear is for entertainment purposes. It's not legal or business advice. And also, if you're thinking about selling to a DSO, we have many years of experience. We've been doing this for 13 years. I was a dentist for 25. So we can help you there. We often will work with the DSOs. We'll pick and choose the best one we think for you. We are not employed by them. We're independent. However, they will pay our commission. Vast majority of the times there'll be no commission to the seller. Now, if you work with myself and my team, we will get you your legal fees based on circumstances. Of course, certain circumstances, criteria. We'll get your legal fees reimbursed upon successful closing. All right, so call us about that. It's worked out well. All right, so getting back to this topic, can a seller sue a buyer for failure to proceed forward to buy the practice? Again, this is not legal advice. I'm not an attorney. But it depends on the circumstances. First, is the contract signed? Now, generally, like in New Jersey, for example, a contract's signed 10 days before closing because it has to be submitted to the state for the bulk sales tax. So you have a signed contract. Some other situations are that they don't sign the contract until the closing time. That's when it's done. But I think it's a good idea to have it closed ahead of time so it's finished. But can the seller have any rights to sue? Again, is the contract signed or is it not signed? If it's signed, that gives you certain legal availabilities to you to proceed forward with the lawsuit. But as with any lawsuit, let me tell you, everything I've learned, I'm not an attorney, of course, this is only opinions. You never know no matter how solid a case you are, you never know if you're going to win. Never, ever. You may think you're going to win, but you don't know if you're going to win. And you have legal costs. Even if you're absolutely 100% innocent, and you think it's still going to cost you $5,000 to open up a lawsuit, and then thousands and thousands, and maybe 2 years later, before the thing finally settles. All you know, it's going to cost a lot of money, take a lot of your time, and the solution, the answer, the resolution in the end, you can never be guaranteed, no matter how solid you are with your deal. And the thousands and thousands of dollars it's going to cost you. It's basically, it's not worth it. Now, in the situation that you have a buyer that bails out of a dental practice sale and did not sign a contract yet, I believe you could possibly take them to court. You could sue somebody for anything. But as an attorney will tell you, it's going to cost you thousands of dollars, 2 years, and I don't know if you're going to win or not. So under those circumstances, you should avoid that at all costs. You should have a broker that properly screens the buyer. You should have a buyer that has a great dental attorney, seller that has a great dental attorney, and a bank that does dental all the time. There's only, on the East Coast, there's 3 or 4 of them that are really good. They're great. I mean, there's in California, but you want a nationwide company. when it comes to banks. You got to be so careful. Attorneys, there's probably less than 50 great dental attorneys in the whole country. There just aren't that many. It's not a specialty type thing, but it's a highly experienced form of legal representation. A dental attorney is somebody who essentially is a contract attorney that does these deals, 15, 20 deals a year minimum, constantly has dental deals floating constantly. That's a dental attorney, and we can recommend some. We don't care. We don't get anything out of it. We just want to go to closing, get you to a successful closing. But so avoiding getting into it, even a possible lawsuit, or having the buyer back out last minute, the broker has to bring the right people there, and at the same time, you got to have a backup buyer. If you're irate that the buyer pulls out, don't even waste your time suing, is my response. No matter what the circumstances are, don't even worry about it. You've got to get that practice on the market immediately. What we do is we have a backup buyer, or if and where possible, backup buyer. So the seller's going to feel a lot better. Excuse me. The buyer's going to feel a lot better. Not the new buyer, that is the secondary buyer. So as soon as the first buyer falls apart, you pull in the second buyer, and suddenly the seller's going to calm down, you know. But I've had circumstances where a buyer was resistant to close, and all the documents, I think the documents were signed in that situation, and then the buyer's trying to delay the closing, and the seller said, no way, threaten a lawsuit. The mere threat of a lawsuit could shake up a buyer enough to get them motivated. All right? Will a judge ever force a buyer to purchase a dental practice? I don't know. I doubt it. I'm not an attorney. This is only an opinion. But I doubt it. I doubt that will ever happen. And you got to prove it, and it'll take you 2 years, and it'll cost you thousands of dollars plus $5,000 just to start a lawsuit. But sometimes the threat of a lawsuit may be enough to dissuade the buyer from walking away. There's a lot of emotions in these dental deals, and I can understand if somebody gets a little shaky. But the minute you try to sue them, they're going to come up with for breach of contract or something. The buyer's going to have his own defense and say, well, you were not truthful in the information, and therefore I couldn't make a qualified decision, or some nonsense. It's not worth it. You probably have some legal rights. You've got to consult an attorney, not me, but it's not worth it. It's a headache. You're going to take forever, drag it through court, and you may or may not win. But the more important thing is your practice got to get sold. You've got to focus on moving to the next buyer and get the practice sold, rather than trying to force this buyer to purchase. If the dental contracts are already signed, that may be a different story. Again, I'm not an attorney, but that may have a little more teeth to it. He says the guy or the gal buyer has already signed a contract. That could be a challenging situation. But still, even if they signed the contract, what are you going to do as the seller? You're going to wait for 2 years till the practice sells, till you win a lawsuit, or a year, cost you thousands of dollars, and you do not know the results. It's just not worth it. It's simply not worth it. You've got to just move on to your next, and hopefully your broker has a backup buyer. You've got to move on to your next backup buyer. That is your answer. All right? Well, thank you for listening today. We have hit that subscribe button, so at least you're aware of the new YouTube videos that come out. We try to do 1 or 2 a week. At least you know what's happening. Okay? Now, in the event that you have any questions, whatever, feel free to call us. We answer the phone every day, so we can hopefully answer your questions and provide some guidance on many issues. We have the new list coming out of practices almost every 4 to 6 weeks. If you haven't signed up for that, sign up for it. All you have to do is sign the non-disclosure agreement. We can take it from there. Thank you, bye.